My name is Jade Diem. My research title is Attachment Theory and Mindfulness in Children with Mothers Who Suffer from Substance Abuse. This is my research presentation for Psych 400. So, to give a little background about my research, I wanted to research how attachment theory and mindfulness impacts children with mothers who suffer from substance abuse. The reason why I found this topic to be interesting is we know that the mother's ability to properly respond to their child has a significant impact on the development of their child. And to start my research, I wanted to look into a mother's style of attachment and how that can contribute to a child's secure or insecure attachment style. This is correlated to depression, anxiety symptoms. And then I wanted to see how mindfulness affects children as well who suffer from a family or a mother with substance abuse. After further research, I hypothesized that mindfulness-based interventions in childhood can help reduce depression and anxiety in children who have mothers who suffer from substance abuse. It is important to keep in mind that a mother's bond with their child is really important in the psychological development of their child. As it's important for a mother to take on the responsibility of caring and nurturing their child, which holds a high standard in the emotional connection of their child. So the first variable in my research was attachment issues. A mother's style of attachment can contribute to a secure, insecure attachment of her child that can be correlated to depression and anxiety symptoms for that child. A child with insecure attachment issues are less likely to have an optimistic personality. They often find a hard time keeping relationships, and overall, they can have difficulties in life as it leads to depression, anxiety, which can affect multiple things in their life. So, attachment theory suggests that humans are wired to connect with one another emotionally, and there's an influence on children's development by how they are treated by their parents, especially by their mothers. Mothers are supposed to be nourishing to their child both physically and emotionally in a comfortable way. And it's important to know that a mother's style of attachment can reflect on their child's style of attachment. So if it's a supportive, healthy, secure attachment, the child is more likely to have a healthy, secure attachment, which will depend and affect things in their life, both mentally and physically. My second variable was mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is the practice of focusing your full attention on the present moment intentionally and without judgment. And with mindfulness, it is hypothesized to increase awareness of a person's thoughts and emotions. It is supposed to help to decrease overreactivity to events and increase responding to events or situations in intended ways. It involves self-regulation, which is a use of skills to respond to the demands of the environment you're in an appropriate way. Childhood is a critical time for the development of self-regulation skills influenced by experiences and environmental contributions. It is said to believe that the ages of 3 and 7, there's a significant development of the prefrontal cortex of the brain, which allows us to develop a higher order of thinking, which is critical when it comes to self-regulation development. So mindfulness practices are important to have in childhood with the goal of promoting wellness and self-regulation in children. Childhood is a critical time With children who grow up in unstable households, such as having a mother who suffers from substance abuse, can be anxiety provoking and can lead to depression or emotions such as anger and sadness. So, with my hypothesis, I have support and evidence that mindfulness based interventions can be to use for treatment of a child who suffers from anxiety and depression due to their unstable household. So, a mother's ability to properly respond to their child does have a significant effect on the child's attachment styles that can lead to psychological development of the child. So, if a mother does not have a secure attachment style, then this can lead to psychological issues such as anxiety and depression, which would lead to them needing mindfulness based intervention to improve and treat their symptoms of anxiety and depression. So, a mother's I conclude this with mindfulness can be used to reduce anxiety and depression in children who have mothers who suffer from substance abuse. Some limitations in future research. Um, the limitations that we have is there weren't much research on specific mindfulness interventions that I used or found. So that would improve future research, finding what type of specific mindfulness interventions, and then also the effects of mindfulness intervention on the mother and how that affects their child.